days ago, I posted a video about standards and expectations and some unrealistic standards and expectations that we are setting for ourselves and how it's redefining what love is, what relationship and what romance is. And at the end of that video, I promised to give you some important or reasons why we should set standards, because I thought or I believe that most people, the reason why they are setting these unrealistic standards or unrealistic they are giving people these unrealistic expectations because they don't really know why they should set those standards in the first place. Now, let's go to some of the reasons why we set standards, or you should set standards, because this would help you to set standards for yourself so that you'll not fall into the trap of setting those unrealistic standards that may not really work for you. Okay, the first reason of setting standards is having standards helps you to maintain self-worth and self-respect. Now, this is one of the main reasons why I should set standards, because this allows you to not settle for less. It allows you to also let people know how you want to be treated. And when you are setting these standards, or you're making the other party or other people know about these standards, you must as well live by those standards. Because if you say that, oh, you don't like to be disrespected, you don't like to be spoken to in a rude manner, or you value your time, you might as well show that you value your time. You have that one friend, or you're in a relationship with someone that occasionally cancel plans. Like whenever you guys have plans, he or she will cancel plans. So you have this particular friend that normally calls you at odd hours and demanding things at their time, whilst knowing very well that maybe you might be busy or you cannot do it, and they get offended at the fact that, so why you didn't do it. You might as well show them that you are someone that values your time. You don't go around wasting your time. You don't go around disrespecting yourself in any other way, and this helps you to maintain self-respect and self-worth. Okay, next one is it promotes self-growth and happiness. Look, standards helps you to be very selective with the kind of friends you surround yourself with. It also helps you to be very selective with the kind of environment you find yourself in. When you become very intentional with the kind of people that you befriend or you allow into your space, you realize that you become very happy, in the sense that when selecting friends, you look at people that are in alignment with your standards, in a way that you have shared values. Okay, so whatever you believe in, whatever standard that you set, whatever respect or core values that you have, these people have the same core values. And when you identify those people and you become very intentional with surrounding yourself with them and allowing them into your space, and they respect your boundaries or they respect your standards, and you do same to them, vice versa, because remember, it's not one way. The relationship becomes healthy and it becomes easier because both parties have a mutual understanding. Both parties have shared values or shared morals that you all agree on. You realize that you both are growing and developing together, which the end goal of this all is happiness, because there's a healthy relationship, there's a mutual understanding, there's a mutual respect, there are boundaries that are being respected, and everybody is happy at the same time. Third one on the list of why you should set standards, or why it's important to set standards so you know why you are setting the standards in the first place, is that having standards helps you to avoid toxic and unhealthy relationships. I believe this point explains itself. There's not much to talk about, because look, when you set standards, going back to the second point that I made, that you become very selective on the kind of friends. You avoid people that are toxic. You avoid unhealthy relationship. The fourth one on the list is setting standards. It's not about you being very picky or setting unrealistic expectations, which once again, there's a video in the description box where I spoke lengthily about this. Okay, now, so I feel like most people misunderstand what it means to set standards, because you can set standards and still be very open-minded. Okay, the main idea of setting standards is for you not to settle less. Okay, so as you are setting the standard, you should be very open-minded to other people, to other things, because sometimes some of the standards that you set being a bit overboard or a bit too strict on yourself or people that are around you, because you setting standards is not for people not to be able to relate with you, not for people not to be able to communicate or be friendly or be lively with you. Okay, you setting standards is for you to maintain your self-respect and your self-worth, and same applies to the other people. You setting standards is not for you to be very picky, maybe in terms of friendship, in terms of relationships or things like that. Okay, you setting standards means you should be able to notice when someone is being a bit disrespectful towards you or someone does not appreciate you. I remember my early times of setting standards, and there were times I set some god so strict standards for myself and for the people around me. And I think I had a friend that we were talking about certain things, and some of these standards came up, and he was like, wait, you're really living by that? Like, come on, relax, like, calm down. And I had to go back and think about it, and I realized that no, I was actually being overly picky and very like unrealistic about the standard I was setting, because I realized that my understanding of setting the standard by then is to try to control other people. But I realized that you can't control the other person. You can't control what the other person does. The only person or the only thing you can control is how you react and how you accept that. Okay. So when someone does something to you or someone is doing something to you, once you've set your standards, whatever the person is doing is none of your business. It's all about you and about your standard. So it's setting standard is not about being overly picky. Oh, I don't want this, I don't want you to be my friend. Oh, I don't like the way you smile, I like people that smile gentle. No, no, no. No, my dear, no. Now, looking at all the points that I've mentioned from 1 to 4, which are the reasons why you should set standards, which would help you next time when you want to set very realistic standards and expectations. Well, there's one point that I want to chip in, which is setting standards is a process, okay, that varies for each individual. So when setting standards, it should sometimes reflect on your values, desires, and needs. And also, you should consider the people around you. You should consider your friends, your family. What are the things that they also hold dear? And at the same time, you should also know and understand that it's a process. Sometimes, or most times, some of us have allowed certain things to happen around us, certain disrespectful behaviors, comments, or things to happen around us for a very long time, that the people around us believe or think that it's okay, and that's how you're, because you've allowed it to slide so many times. So when you finally know your worth, your value, self-respect, and everything, and you're like, no, I don't want to be treated this way, I don't want to be spoken to this way, I want people to value my time, I want people to value my money, I want people to value my opinion, I don't want people to beat me down because I'm this, I'm this, I'm that. Sometimes it will take a while for them to adjust. The real ones, I'm going to say this, the real ones will adjust, to be able to adjust to your standards and to be able to understand you. But you also have to give them time. You have to give them grace to be able to adjust to those things, because it's a process and it varies for each individual. Okay, and as you're setting the standards, so you should consider them. You should consider the people around you, your family, your friends. What kind of values, what kind of desires, what kind of morals do they also share in common with you? Okay, so when setting the standards, please remember that it's a process and it varies from individual. Okay, someone might take a longer time to adjust to your standards and respect those standards as you also respect theirs. Someone might take a shorter period. It's okay. It depends on the individual, because remember that when it's your turn, you might also have a bit difficult adjusting to the other person. So you should try to give them benefits of the doubt and try to give them grace. Okay, last but not the least, or let me say, the last point I'm going to touch on reasons why you should set standards and why it helps or important to set standards so you can be able to go and set your standards, is that creating and maintaining standards requires self-awareness, self-respect, and willingness to advocate for what you need in a relationship. And that's one of the most important reasons why you set standards, or why standards are set for last. Because look, creating and maintaining standards cannot happen if you don't know your self-worth. It cannot happen if you don't know your value. It will never happen if you don't know self-respect. It will never happen if you're not willing to advocate for yourself. I've heard a lot of people, I've even had a friend once that said that, oh, she's one person that cannot speak up for herself, and she's always complaining about how friends talk to her, about how her family speaks to her, how her partner treats her and everything. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, babes, you are the cause of your problem. Like, I'm sorry, but you are the cause of your problem because I feel like at this point of your life, you still don't know your self-worth. You still don't know your value. You still don't have a little bit of self-respect. So yeah, your friends will disrespect you. Your friends will speak to you in a demeaning manner. They will belittle you. Your input is not valued. Your family, oh, not to talk about family. One thing I've realized that when you don't have standards, family will cross the line and use family to cover like, oh, but I'm family, oh, but she's family, oh, but he's family. But if you have self-respect, you know your self-worth, you'll be able to stand and advocate for what you want. You not accept certain behaviors. You'll be able to say, I don't want this. You'll be able to advocate and not accept less. You will not accept anything that is lesser than you. Because look, whatever you think that they are giving you right now is because of how you see yourself and how they see you. The one thing I've realized is that when I started setting standards, one thing I realized is that how people used to see me first and how they see me now has changed in the sense that I realized that at first people used to talk to me anyhow. I'm not going to lie about this. Used to behave a bit rudely towards me anyhow and would not, even when you're even making decisions that my input is needed, they would not even ask. They would just make the decisions on my behalf because they believe that, oh, they know what is best for me or they know better than me. Sometimes when around certain friends and we are having conversations and I say something, my input or whatever I say is always seen as rubbish. It's like people say things like, you people are talking, you're also talking some. Yeah, that kind of thing. But as soon as I stood up and I understood my self-worth, I understood my value, my self-respect, I realized that people see me in a different light. One of my biggest standards is I don't pick calls after 9 p.m. except for my mom, my sister, or my uncle. I don't care who you are. I'm not picking your call after 9 p.m. So if you call me after 9 p.m., I could literally be on the phone, but I'm not picking your call. There's nothing you're going to do in that time with someone. Unless you send me a message, which I might even reply or reply the following day. But when it comes to call, because I feel like it's a bit disrespectful. And this is for those people that said, oh, they don't know how to speak up for themselves. Even if you can't speak up, even if you can't tell them that, oh, I don't like how I'm being spoken to and all that. Okay, set those boundaries, set those standards. I'm going to share with you two things that I did that helped me before I was able to speak, or along the line I was able to speak up. Okay, the first thing that I did was I tried talking to people, the ones that were closest to me, that were a bit open and were a bit friendly, because no matter what, amongst your friends there's always going to be one person, even if all of them are not so good and treat you bad, there's always going to be one person that really kind of stands out. You can speak to about certain things, okay, and he or she might pass it on, might say that, oh, last time she spoke to me and the joke that we made the other time, it wasn't that she didn't like it, okay, and Charlie, guys, you guys stop. That person will advocate for you respectfully and calmly. The second thing I know I used to do before I was able to speak up is, which I still do, is this is one of the things I still do, is I take myself out of that equation. I take myself out of that situation. I take myself out of that environment. Because look, if you set those standards and yes, you are able to communicate, or you're able to tell someone that is close to you so that the person can advocate for you in a way, and they do, but the people are not willing, because now they know that you don't like the jokes that they made about you, or you don't like how they didn't value your money, or they didn't value your time, and they still do that. And as I said earlier in the video, you can't control how they behave. You can't control how they behave towards you. You can only control how you react. So the best thing I did, or the best thing I do, is I take myself out of the situation. I minimize being around such environments. I minimize being around such friends, and I can tell you 100% that this has helped me and has elevated me in like so many times, because they realize that I'm no more in that circle. I'm no more around you for you to speak to me in a rude manner. I'm not going to be there. If I won't talk about it, that's the last time you and I are going to have a conversation that's close to that. I mean, if you call me and I can help you do something, fine, but that doesn't mean I'm fighting with you, I'm having an issue with you. But I respect myself enough not to allow people to talk down on me, and I value myself enough to know what is best for me and what is beneath me. I hope this video has been helpful, because I think I have relearned a lot of things again. I like this. But anyways, I hope this video is helpful. or the tips or the points that I've mentioned or I've given you will be helpful in your journey in setting realistic standards and expectations. Okay, and I just want to end here by saying that two things: standards are not meant to make other people uncomfortable or to make other people feel bad. Okay, standards are meant for you to maintain, as I said, to have self-respect and not settle for less. So when you are setting the standards, please be realistic. Just reflect on your values, your desires, your morals, and the principles, and your non-negotiables too, if possible, and use that to set your standards. And please put the people around you into consideration when you are setting the standards. Okay, don't only really think about yourself. Think about yourself, but not mainly about yourself. Think about the other people, how they will accept it. And when you are done setting your standards, please try and communicate to other people. Most times I realize that people try to communicate their standards in a very curt manner, which shouldn't be so. You can communicate your standard to the other person without being disrespectful, without being rude, or without making them really feeling bad about it. And as I said before, if you've spoken about it countless times and they still don't want to respect your boundaries, which you would also respect theirs in reciprocal because it's vice versa, I think the best thing you can do for yourself is take yourself out of the equation. Okay, and the second thing I want to say is, look, my last video was on with unrealistic expectations, which is the link in the description box. You can go and check it out. It's a very interesting video and I would love to hear your thoughts, and you can share some of the unrealistic standards that you think we are setting for ourselves, just when it comes to relationships, romance, love, everything, friendship, like everything. Okay, if you've watched the video up to this point, that means you enjoyed it. So what are you waiting for? You will subscribe. Please subscribe. Okay, subscribe. Thank you. Subscribe, like, and share if you want. No, share. Okay, thanks so much for watching my video. Catch you in my next video, which is another interesting topic. Have a blessed life.